And so the very first thing I want you guys to do when it comes to when you start thinking about attracting the affluent is I want you to suspend disbelief. I want you to do away with this idea of my business is different, the community I work in or live in is different, the people I serve are different, my market is different. There's really nothing different about you. The economy where I live is different. Because what really matters is your personal microeconomy. You have zero control on gas prices. I can tell you with 100% certainty that when gas prices hit $5 per gallon, there will be people who fill up the gas tank of their SUVs and gun it from light to light and don't care how much gas costs. When it hits $6 per gallon, they will do the same. $7 per gallon, they will do the same. $8 per gallon, they will do the same. $9, $10, $11 per gallon, they will do the same. What will happen, the person in that SUV will change. In other words, wealth is like energy, right? Now, I don't know much about science, and thank God Dan Ritchie is here in the front, so I'm going to defer to you. The guy's a PhD. One of my top coaching clients is a PhD. How about this? I coach and consult guys who speak at like these conferences that reject me. I'm so offended, right? It's like, look, this guy's paying me money. Just let me speak on your stage. No, you can't. All right. By the way, I did apply for that New Orleans one, and I expect a nice big rejection letter to show up. Valentine is speaking too, so if I were to come, we'd have a really good time. But I'll come regardless. Anyway, I'm like the black sheep. So, it's like energy, right? They say energy doesn't just disappear, it transfers, right? Wealth just gets redistributed. So the person at $5 per gallon in that SUV, they might gun it from light to light. But when it goes to $6 per gallon, and I think back to about 3 years ago, what happened? When gas prices went up, people went from that SUV or that big truck to the Prius. But there were still plenty of SUVs and big trucks out there, weren't there? There were. So it's just the person in that SUV changes. Wealth gets redistributed. Money doesn't go away in your community. It just goes to another person. Think about this. Where I live in Chino Hills, and this might have happened with you, there's a little mall, actually a good-sized mall. I mean, it's got a Target. It's got the Pep Boys, Sports Chalet, all the big brand anchor stores. And lots of nice little restaurants, a fountain. And we'd go as a family. When Andrew was tiny, and they'd have a little band out there on the weekends, they'd play, and we'd watch the fountain, and we'd get a little food, we'd sit in the patio and eat. All of a sudden, Chino Hills took this big open land and converted it into these restaurants. Now there's a CPK there, there's a PF Chang's. You mastermind people know what I'm talking about. We go and eat there. Ironically, I never take you guys to the other place. All the shops at that other place and all of the people who used to go there now go to the shops at Chino Hills because it's fancier. We got PF Chang's. We've got Yard House, right? So what happened? Money just moved 2 streets over. Now, if I want some of that money, what would I need to do? I would uproot my business and go 2 streets over and plant myself in that shopping center, wouldn't I? But what these people did, now I understand some of them were tied to a lease. Some of them don't understand the concept. They blame it on the economy. Well, it was during a bad economy that they built this mega outdoor mall in Chino Hills. And they stuffed it with these high-end shops. And people flocked there like crazy. And all of a sudden, one of the most popular hangouts in Chino Hills for families, done, ghost town. Sad, unfortunate. We're one of those people. Just drive by and go, remember that place? Yeah, all right. Hey, CPK or PF Chang's? Right? So money just moved. Trust me, on a Friday night, Saturday night, you can't find a parking spot. You can't find a parking spot. You can at the other place. Not there. So you guys understand how money moves, wealth moves? The person who could afford the SUV at $5 per gallon could no longer afford it at $6 per gallon. But there's someone else who took their spot, right? And because of how money moved recently, because of the big economic changes that happened, there's a new market of affluent people. So where there used to be the middle class, which was the majority, and then the affluent, what do they call that? I don't want to say low class. What is it called? Low income class? The working class, right? So the classes have changed. See, normally we would market to the upper middle class, right? That was our market. The upper middle class no longer exists. The middle class itself has shrunk. Some have gone this way to what I call the new affluent, and then there's the ultra affluent. Write that down. The ultra affluent were affluent even before this whole economic disaster happened. The new affluent took advantage of the economic disaster. If I could use Dan as an example here, it's during this economic disaster that he's opening up his second location in Indiana, not necessarily the fitness capital of the world. It was during this economic disaster that Jeff Sherman took his Fit Body Bootcamp location, and you moved it to a bigger location, right? Moves to a bigger location is doing $30,000 a month. New wealth, new affluence, right? Money just shifted hands, didn't go away. So I encourage you, do not have the belief that the money's gone, your community's different, the people you work with are different, your business is different, the way you train is different. It's not. You are not different. Your thought process is different. Your thoughts might be your biggest limiting beliefs. Your thoughts might be the single biggest cause that's stalling success, and we're going to work on that this weekend. We're going to work on that this weekend. But I just need your commitment that you let go of that thought process. Just doesn't understand that there's two groups, the new affluent and the ultra affluent, and that money has gone from group A to group B. That's it. Your job, my job, is to find where group B is and position value in front of them so that they will exchange money for the value that we give them. In the same time that the economy is going down the shitter, Fitness Business Summit continues to grow. I continue to charge more, you continue to come. I go to events. When I can't go to an event, I send 2 of my staff members to an event. I paid twice what I would pay normally for myself, and I send 2 of my staff members. Right? So the events that I attend continue to grow. So what do we need to know about the affluent market these days? They'll spend money on 2 things: exclusivity and experience. The affluent will spend money on 2 things: exclusivity and experience. They want their ego stroked. They want to know that they've got the best in class. If you are the cheapest in price, you are not exclusive. If you have a surplus of service, of sessions to give away, you are not exclusive. Lululemon, great example of that. We were talking about that the other night. You go to your local Lululemon, they only made 4 of these doohickeys with the thumb that goes in it and the hood wraps around your face, right? You know what I'm talking about. Only 4 of them in medium. That's it. You buy it from the store, you missed out, they don't have more in the back. You wait for the next shipment, it's going to be a different style. It's exclusivity. They sell workout gear, guys, for $60, $70 a piece. Raise your hand, ladies and guys, if you wear Lululemon. My hand's up. Yeah, keep them high. Look around, everybody. And there's just a small part of the people that will be here this weekend. Yeah. Yeah. And then they go, you know what? Women aren't enough. We're going to start selling our shit to guys. And so I buy it. Right? Exactly. Now, women weren't enough. Now we have to buy it. And I happily buy it, even though I cringe when I get my credit card, because I know I can get the Under Armour, I can get the Adidas, I can get the Nike. I'm going to sweat in this thing. It's going to have stains soon. Doesn't matter. It's Lululemon. It's got the little logo. Don't you know? Take a look. It's got the long tag. I know what to do with it. We tear it off, right? They've conditioned us. That's how we roll. Come on. Good for them. They're exclusive. People will pay for exclusivity. The affluent want exclusivity. Guys, I'm not here to brag at all. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Is that what's shaking? Is that what we're hearing? Could it be like a seismic earthquake? I count about 9 people who are going to get hurt when that thing goes down. 9, 10, 11. You two on the end there. You guys might. Yeah. Yeah. Tien, you're going to make it out. Not Jennifer. You're going to be all right. Her name is Jessica. I call her not Jennifer because I kept calling her Jennifer, right? And so now I call her not Jennifer because it's Jessica. Exclusivity. Like I said, I don't want to brag. I just want to use myself as an example. People learn best from stories and examples of Lululemon, et cetera. And I'll fully disclose my life. You guys, most of you know that I came from a shithole of a country that was in economic ruins, run by communist Russia. Armenia is where I came from. And while I love the country to death, it's just when I went to visit back in '91, it was just still a mess and it hurts my heart. But it is what it is. I was 6 years old when my dad defected communist Russia and brought us here to the US, right, for a better life. He was tired of being a member of the Communist Party. He did not want to be a member of the Communist Party. We were poor and broke. There's a difference. See, most people don't know the difference. Who knows the difference between poor and broke? What's the difference between poor and broke?
Broke is that you don't have any money, and poor is more of a mindset.
Exactly. Poor is a mindset. I might be broke again, and I've told my wife before, I might make a business decision and might be broke again, but I'll never be poor again, right? Exactly right. We were poor and broke, man. My dad would lift me up and throw me in the dumpsters of behind, not Albertsons, at the time it was called Alpha Beta. It was later purchased by Ralph's and then later purchased by Albertsons. Anyway, I don't know if there's Albertsons in your area. But anyway, big giant grocery store. And I became an expert at picking out bags of food, whether it was milk that was just 1 day old and expired, they couldn't sell it, bread, eggs, expired but not bad. And we'd dig it out and eat it. But my life has completely changed. Alan Cosgrove and I were speaking, today at lunch. And he's like, you know, it's funny, because he's Scottish. He goes, guys like me and you, who come from like immigrant countries, immigrants like us, you know, we're like 2% of the world's population, but we're like 20% of the millionaires. And it can't be that because we're like super hard workers. Like, no. It's because we have contrast. We have something to compare against. See, we've seen a horrible life. We've been in a country that there's no opportunity. And then we come here and go, oh my gosh, there's opportunity, right? And so I'm going to use myself as an example because I've been there and now I'm here. I love watches. And like Alwyn and I talked today, he and I might be 2 guys down the line in our 60s and 70s in a trailer park, broke and poor, but with the most nicest collection of watches ever. Because as we're walking with Josh Carter and everybody else to go get lunch, we're like, ooh, the Omega store, ooh, the Rolex store, ooh, Cartier, right? He and I love watches. Now listen, if a $4,000 watch isn't enough for me, I wanted something unique and exclusive. So I walk into Cartier, and they put on the little white gloves. How can we help you, sir? Well, and guess what I walked in? I walked in looking like this. Flip-flops, T-shirt. I am the new Affluent. But see, she didn't qualify me. She didn't go like, oh, this guy's just here. How can I help you, sir? She knows. Brought out the little velvet thing, unrolled it, put on a show. Well, gosh, I'd like to see that watch. And I knew exactly what I was looking to see. I was there for this watch right here. Because it's automatic, as in there's no batteries. It works with my body's movement. There's a pendulum that swings when I walk. And it's so smart, it learns my rhythm, so it doesn't overwind or underwind. And unlike all other automatic watches, it's got 5 ball bearings, which all watches do that are automatic and high-end, but these are made of ceramic, and they absorb shock better. So when I clap, my watch does not fall back or forward in time. A Rolex or an Omega does, because they are metal ball bearings. This is also what's known as a skeleton watch, meaning on the back, it's glass. You can see the whole movement. You can see the little jewels in it. I gladly paid $12,000 and walked out feeling like a champ when she goes, we have something else for you, sir. I said, do tell, madam. Well, Cartier, we have this exclusive champagne that we only give to our high-end customers. Now, keep in mind, it's my first time buying a Cartier product. And I don't even care if it's Cartier. I just love watches, and I love the technology behind them. This could have been Rolex, Omega, Swatch, for all I care. And I do have Swatches, by the way, and I love them. I bought it for the technology and for the mechanics that it is, because people in Switzerland make this thing by hand, right? And so she goes back, comes out with this champagne, with this fancy bottle. This is not sold. This is only gifted. Ooh, holy shit. I'll take that. Thank you. I felt like a champ. Now I felt like 12 grand. That was well worth it. It's probably $100 worth of champagne that was probably relabeled, right? But man, I felt good about myself. I felt good about walking out of Cartier. I felt good about the service and the experience she gave me. I felt good about being added to her database, so that when my birthday comes, they'll send me this fancy card. When Christmas comes, they'll send me a fancy card. It's the exclusivity. It's the experience. I paid for that. When I purchased the Nissan GTR, as you can tell, when it comes to clothes, jeans and a t-shirt, I'm good to go, baby. $14 flip-flops, done. Done. But I'll pay money for cars and watches. Like I said, I'll be in a trailer park when I'm 70. I know how to make money. How to keep it is a different story. No, I do well with keeping it as well. Thank God we've got a great accountant. Yeah. Which, by the way, mastermind guys, seven-figure mastermind folk, John Schilling, my accountant, who's also does the accounting for Under Armour, will be coming and speaking at the Seven-Figure Formula Mastermind Group in May, because some of you guys asked for it. I'm pointing to the middle because typically the mastermind group sits in the middle, and I see most of you here. But anyways, my point is, I went to the Nissan dealership. Now again, I just care about the mechanics. I don't care about Ferrari, Lamborghini. I could afford that and that at the same time. But I care about the mechanics of this particular car. The computer system in the Nissan GTR is so unique that when you get on it, it can tell the type of pavement you're on, the softness of the tires, because the type of rubber, the faster you drive, the more it heats up, the softness of the tires, how much torque and power it needs to put to the rear wheels versus the front wheels, because it is all-wheel drive, so that I have a perfect 0 to 60 launch in 2.8 seconds. That is a supercar. It's a Nissan, like a Maxima, like an Altima. But if you know that Nissan made the Skyline, you would know that they later called it the GTR, and you would also know that they only bring 300 a year to the US. And you know that it beats the pants off of the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, the Maserati, and any other fancy car out there. I don't care about the label. Like I said, this didn't have to be Cartier. I care about the technology in it. It helps that it says Cartier, and when people notice it, oh, Cartier, oh yeah, I feel good about myself, right? But again, when I went there, hey, I'd like to test drive this thing. Nope, sorry. And guess what? It's behind a velvet rope. There's only two, the silver one and the black one. The silver one is $4,000 extra. Why? Apparently, and I'm sure this is a lie, I'm sure it's not, 4 extra coats of what do you call it? Help me out there. The clear coat. So it's extra shiny. Guess which sucker paid $4,000 extra? This sucker right here. So me and Hockman go in there, like, hey, can I test drive that? Nope. Can I sit in it? Yeah, well, we can open the doors for you. It's good enough. Great. Well, look, I see the sticker says $91,000 plus $4,000 for the thing. I'll tell you what, I'll just pay the $91, you throw it, but I'll take the silver one. Just skip that $4,000. He goes, nope, you can get the black one. Yeah, but I don't want the black one because I've had a black car. It's hard to maintain, so I want the silver one. It's really cool. And plus, I watched a YouTube video. It's got the silver one. It's really cool. And I saw it beat the Ferrari, and I really want the silver one because I want to pretend like I'm that guy. Great, you're going to pay the 91 plus 4. Okay, I'm going to leave now. He goes, okay, great, have a good day. Okay, you know what? I'll take the damn car. I bought the car, drove it home. That was it. Exclusivity, right? There's only so many left. I know because you can go to Nissan.com and know how many of these damn cars are left in the United States. And so people will pay for exclusivity. Now, how do you do that? It's like, well, wait a minute. When I market, I put out postcards and I put out a print ad and all this stuff, right? Hey, come on in, free body diagnostic, free week of personal training, whatever. Like, how can I position exclusivity? That's cool. You do that. You put your marketing pieces out there. Let people reply. As soon as they reply, you flip the script on them. What you do is say, hey, I'm glad you're showing interest in our personal training or boot camp program. We're fortunate enough to be one of the most busiest ones here because we produce results and we guarantee results or your money back. Because of that, we've got a waiting list. And we've got this application process. Who does that? American Express Black Card, right? They send me a thing in the mail that says, hey, you ought to get the American Express Black Card because you'll have your own concierge, you can spend it wherever you want, it's not made of plastic, it's made of titanium or aluminum or whatever. Ooh, fantastic. They sought me out. I go, okay, I want it. Well, sir, there's a waiting process, there's also $5,000 in this application process. All of a sudden, I'm having to tell them, like, please take me. When they market it to me, I reply to the marketing piece. So you can easily do that. You can create exclusivity. You can create manufacturer scarcity. The affluent want scarcity. Manufacture scarcity. Write that down. So the experience. There's two types of experience they want. They want to know that you're experienced. That you know your business. You've produced results that you talked about. That people talk about you. That you've got social proof. You know, you're not just a person with that one testimonial everywhere, but every time you run an ad, if you're in a small market and you happen to run commercials, like Dan does, like Samantha Taylor does. Samantha, are you in here? Samantha Taylor, raise your hand if you're in here. She is not. One of my coaching clients, she's running ads now. TV commercials. You show different testimonials, right? Dan shows the local news anchors working out there. They don't even speak in the commercials because they're not allowed to endorse you. But everybody in, is it West Lafayette, knows that those two girls working out there were the news anchors. What is he doing? He's positioning exclusivity, isn't he? Look who I train. Without even saying it. He's just like, hey, I'm Dan. Come work out here. Come check out what we do. And there's trainers training, oh my gosh, the news anchors. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. So they want to know that you're experienced. They understand that you're experienced by not only your credentials, but by what people say about you and talk about you, and also the social proof that you demonstrate. Now, going back to the word experience, they also want this other version of experience. They want to have an amazing experience. They want to have the Cartier version of training. If they have an appointment with you and you're a minute late, you've ruined the experience for them. For everybody else, that'll be okay. For the affluent, that is not okay. They're very decisive. They know exactly what they want. We're all going to die. Do you think it's me doing that? Oh, okay. Huh. We should have that taken down. Tomorrow, no one's going to sit there. It's all brand new people, and all these people are laughing. Nathan's like, suckers, you're all going to die. So they want the experience, right? They want their version, your version of the Cartier experience. They want the place to look good, right? Tomorrow you'll meet, are the twins in here? Stephen and Mark? Yes, back there. I went to London last summer. They have got an awesome, awesome facility. They're in Bedford, UK. They're doing like $50,000 a month, that right? Around $50,000, which is because for you guys, like 1 pound. Yeah, 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 yeah. One pound is like $50,000. I get it. You don't have to rub it in. That's the internal joke we have in the 7-figure group. But they're like, hey, man, how do we make this place better? Now, they've been in their own facility enough, and they got desensitized to it. And I said, well, you can start off by hiding all those wires that are sticking out behind the desk. This leather couch that's sitting here is all stained and torn up. The marker board's crooked and disheveled. The affluent became affluent because they have attention to detail. I can be a big pain in the ass for that guy right back there, Austin, because I can walk in and go, that thing needs to shift. There needs to be a flag over there, and tomorrow there'll be a flag. You guys will see. Right? I can just stand there. There needs to be a car there, which, by the way, we weren't able to get the car like last year. So we'll have a picture of a car as we give a car away. But the affluent are decisive. They have great attention to detail. If you're a minute late to that appointment, to that consultation, done, over, gone. They want to feel that special experience because they're more than willing to part with their money for the experience that you give them. If I wanted a watch that just tells time, I would have bought a Seiko. But I wanted man jewelry. Right? So they're very decisive. And so I'm going to be very honest with you guys. Right now, for most of you, and I'm being brutally honest here because I love you, I care for you, and I wish somebody would have been this way with me years ago. Right now, this very moment, for most of you, there's an ocean of distance between where you are and where you need to be in mindset and service delivery to attract and service the affluent. What I'm hoping is by the end of this presentation and by the end of this weekend, the gap will have shrunk, right? Not every single person in here is going to want to do that, right? They repainted the office. They got a new couch. They sent me pictures when I went back to the U.S. They sent me pictures. The marker board's straight now, right? Their office doesn't have like a Tupperware lid sitting there from the chicken breast that they just ate. There was like paint chipped off the wall and maybe a kettlebell had knocked into this drywall. There was an indentation. All that fixed. And guess what they did right after that? They raised their prices. And guess what? People gladly pay. Now they're making more money than they were last summer. How about that? Because people want a great experience. When you walk into this hotel, did you guys get that smell? Anybody get that special smell? Raise your hand if you did. Small handful of you. You guys are probably more destined to be affluent than the rest of you. No, I'm kidding. The rest of you probably just have a stuffy nose. The Aria, right? When we have our masterminds at the Aria, you walk in. Oh, wow, it smells so good, right? Yeah, Rosa's shaking her head. She's in the group. She's been there, right? That's where we have our mastermind meetings. So there's all that cigarette smoke. There's all the body funk from people who didn't shower for days because they're just pulling on that slot machine, right? There's all the restaurant smells, and they somehow manage to make those entryways just smell so good and be so appealing because that very first impression, the experience you get is going to determine if you come back again, how much money you spend while you're there right now, and whether you choose to upgrade to the suite when they go, sir, we've got one room available. Would you like to upgrade to the suite? All based on that one door swing and smell and sight that you have. It's a fact. So, further understanding the affluent. I want you to consider them the spending class. They are the people that spend money. They do not have an issue with spending money. If you think they don't have, oh gosh, I know this person makes money, but they just said they couldn't afford it, it's because they chose not to afford your service. They were decisive enough and they chose for a particular reason. I don't know why. Could be sight, sound, smell, experience. They chose not to afford you. The spending class, the affluent, it's not an issue whether they can afford it. It's whether they choose to afford it or not. Right? They think differently than the majority. They'll hire out for things rather than do things themselves. I want you to understand their mindset. Right? My dad can't figure out Son, the sprinkler's broken. Why do you not change the sprinkler yourself? Why do you just let water shoot up all weekend? I go, because on Monday, when my lawn guy comes, we're going to pay him an extra $25, and he's going to change that sprinkler head. Why don't you do it? My higher value is to write an email broadcast that adds value to your life, and I might put a link in there that pushes you to a product. And by doing that in the same amount of time, instead of changing that sprinkler head that's shooting water 6 feet up, that made me $3,000. Me spending time to do what Omar, who's an awesome lawn guy, by the way, I love the guy, I love chatting with him too, he's a great guy. He's actually trying to go into the sheriff's department. Look, he's going to do that job like this. I'm going to get in there and screw up the whole sprinkler system, probably get mud in the pipes, right? Cause a bigger problem for him later. It's not of my greatest value. The affluent hire out. And they'll gladly pay for, write this down, they'll gladly pay for speed, convenience, service, exclusivity, and authority. Because they want bragging rights. So they want to work with the person who's the authority in fitness, the authority in weight loss. The affluent are a weird breed, man. They want bragging rights. Who's heard of Yannick Silver? So he's this guy, he's an internet marketer, really one of the top internet marketers. Some would argue that he's probably like the godfather of internet marketing. Probably him and his partner sold the first ebook years ago, like 1 billion years ago. And he's got this group called the Maverick Business Adventures. So pretty much, I'm in the Maverick Business Adventure. Craig Ballantyne is in it. And what we do is, I don't know, several times a year, we'll go on some weird Maverick trip. Like one of my favorite ones was when we all rented high-end exotic cars, and because we didn't want to beat up our cars, and went from Marina Del Rey all the way to San Francisco for a 4-day period. It was like maybe 15, 16 of us. Jean-Paul DeJourneau is in the group. He's the guy who found, what's that hair product for women? Paul Mitchell, thank you. And he, by the way, had his car flatbedded from Austin, and he flew and met us in Marina Del Rey, and then we drove up. But anyway, so we drove up in a 4-day trip all the way to San Francisco. One of the things that Yannick had set up was we're going to go in this Tanapa Valley to some winery, and they got this cave. We went down to the cave. It's really cold and damp, and they got the barrels of wine. They got this long table set out for us. We're eating dinner, and the guy, the owner of the winery says, hey, this is going to bring out the best wine here for you guys, and he brings out a bottle of this and a bottle of that, and the one he put out in front of me, and I think Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher were sitting across from me. And he goes, and this is Screaming Eagle. Now, if you Google Screaming Eagle, you'll see that it costs like $1,800. And he pours the wine glasses full and does his thing with it. All right. And I sip mine. I'm like, oh, man, this just tastes like the boxed wine my parents used to get from Walmart. I totally offended the guy. Didn't mean to. Just came out. I don't know anything about wine. I'm like, can I get a Diet Coke? Yannick got a good laugh. A few of the dudes got a good laugh. He was pissed. I don't know Screaming Eagle. But the dudes who were there were like, oh, yeah, Screaming Eagle's good, but blah, blah, blah is better. And, of course, I got my iPhone. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's a $4,000 wine. Probably tastes just as shitty as this one. But here I see my colleagues, my friends, having this measuring contest, right? And they say, oh, well, this wine's even better. It's a Merlot, and it's, Google it. Oh, $6,000. Oh, they only make like 400 bottles. Wow, amazing, right? Probably tastes just as shitty as the other one. My point is, they want authority in whatever they hire. They want the best, right? My buddy Frank Kern talks about a story that he goes to this guy in Orange County, all the way from La Jolla. He drives an hour and a half in Orange County, and believe me, from La Jolla to San Diego, to Orange County, There's about 6 of these guys who will do just as good of a job, but there's this one particular guy who makes custom shirts and suits. And he goes to him, and he goes to him alone. So guess what I said? What's his number? I want to go to him. Why? Because he went to him. And he's in the circles that I travel in. It's good enough for you. He's good enough for me. The affluent will share contact information. If you get one, you've got them all. If you get one and you're bad to them, you've lost them all. Do you understand that? You get one, you've got them all. If you got one and you're bad to them, you lost them all. It's a small circle, man. Small circle. And the top internet marketers of the world hang out together, several times a year, and we go on these goofy little trips. Which, by the way, my most favorite part of those trips, and Yannick is so cool for doing this, each trip, they bring in, whatever hotel we end up staying at, they bring in young entrepreneurs, like typically 9th grade, 10th grade, sometimes as low as 7th and 8th grade, and they share their ideas, and then we as a group kind of coach and consult them on their ideas, and a couple of the ideas were just really awesome and incredible. I mean, you can tell, like, wow, that kid's gonna there's the next Mark Zuckerberg, and there's the next, founder of the next search engine that's gonna happen. It's so cool, and gosh, I wish, I experienced that, right? I wish someone would stoke my fire when I was a kid and came up with harebrained ideas. Instead, my dad was like, hey, go dig a hole in the backyard there so I can plant this avocado tree. If we can plant a tree, we can grow avocados, we don't have to buy them from that store. At the time, it made sense. I love my dad to pieces, by the way. I'm just saying, it would have been cool from this, right? I mean, come on, Dad, how about you ask me, what are you interested in, son? But hey, he brought me to the U.S., I'm happy for that. I love him to pieces. So, and check this out. The affluent are forever optimists. They are forever optimists. It doesn't matter what you sell, says Dan Kennedy. It doesn't matter what you sell. If you're selling to the affluent, you're also a merchant of optimism. You're also selling happiness. They are forever optimists. They love good news. So you can't be a gloom and doom kind of person. Right? So whatever you sell, you're also a merchant of good news. Again, I want you guys to understand the psychology, right, of the affluent. They'll hire out for shit instead of do it themselves. They will. They want their ego stroked. They want the best in class. That's how they think. To them, there's no economy problem. It's just their own microeconomy. That's it. That's it. So all they do is think about, I've got a brain, I've got these skills, I've got the ability to delegate to these people in my staff. What can I think up in my brain that would add value to the masses so that the masses would give me money? That's it. Apple just launched the, iPad 3 now? Right? What did you say? The new iPad. Oh, the new iPad. Okay, I don't know what they call it. Sorry. I'm such a sucker. I bought the first one because I just love Apple products, right? I had the iPhone. I got I had the Nano, this, that, and the other, and I got the MacBook. And then I'm like, ooh, the iPad. I got to get one. Didn't even know why I needed one because between this and the MacBook, pretty much does it all. And logic told me that, and I said that to myself. And then I went out and bought it. And then after using it for a day, I gave it to my daughter, Chloe. And she did that. And now there's a crack across it, and she plays Angry Birds. I don't use it. We don't use it. But I'm so loyal to that company, and I love their marketing so much, and I want to belong to their tribe so bad that I went out and bought a $400 piece of oversized iPhone. Right? More notes. So let's talk about the affluent, specifically your market, who she is. So there's a female who's in her early 30s. She's part of the new affluent market. I pretty much described her. But then there's this other group, and she's experiencing her midlife crisis. And you're going to instantly be able to go, oh, that's Susan, that's Jeannie, that's Jane. I'm going to describe some of your clients. And if I do, then you need to connect with them and have them take you to the right places so you can be seen with them at the right places and be introduced to the right people to penetrate the group of affluent people in your community. So in her midlife crisis, she's the one who's going to trigger the divorce. And within 6 months, 6 to 12 months of the divorce, she's going to seek out 4 things: teeth whitening, weight loss, a new wardrobe, and a sporty car. Do you guys know her? Raise your hand if you have that client. Uh-huh. Yeah. Right? Did you guys get the second thing that she seeks out after teeth brightening as the first one? Weight loss? She's on the market, man. His midlife crisis, because we also have male clients. His midlife crisis is the desire to stay young. So what does he do? He'll get the mistress. This is all facts, by the way. He'll get the mistress, he'll get the sports car, because he wants to look how he feels. He wants to stay young again. And there's 3 really big desires that he wants. He wants to be needed, wanted, and respected. Now, most of your market space is probably going to be female, so you should just focus on the female that I described to you. And ask yourself, how can I market to this person? Now you're probably wondering, well, how in the heck do I find the person who just got recently divorced? She's having a midlife crisis. How do I find that person? Courthouse records is one. You ready for this? Yeah. You go to the dentist. Hey, has anyone in this age category come to get their teeth whitened recently? No, write this down, Simpson-direct.com. Simpson-direct.com. His name is Craig Simpson. He's probably the world's best list broker, like on the planet. There's not a list that he can't buy, aggregate, get his hands on, compile, whether it's business, whether it's consumers, he will find them. So if you say, I'm looking for women who were just recently divorced in the last 6 to 12 months, in this zip code, who have an income base of $100,000 a year or higher, Craig Simpson will hand you the list. And then he'll say, let me help you write the copy, the marketing piece, and mail out for you. Now, of course, he's going to sell you the list. He's not just going to hand it to you, right? He's a list broker. And I'm going to tell you another way that you can find this list as well. It's not as targeted. There's 2 categories of affluent, like we talked about, right? There's the affluent and the ultra-affluent. The affluent, or the new affluent, typically do $95,000 to $250,000 a year. This is according to Dan Kennedy. And man is a research machine. They'll do $95,000 to $250,000 a year. The ultra-affluent will do $250,000 a year or more. So what motivates them to buy? What else do we know about them? What are their buying triggers? They're pressed for time. They're eager for efficiency. They want competence. They want convenience, right? Remember I said they'll hire out? When it's time for Thanksgiving, they don't go and buy the turkey and the yams and the beets. They don't even go and buy the pre-made stuff that serves 8, 10, 15. They pay, this is the ultra-affluent, a chef to come, and they'll give him $2,000 to cook the meal and leave before the guests arrive. Does it happen? All the time. All the time. Remember, there's cupcakes for $5 a cupcake. We all know those cupcake shops, right? $5 a cupcake. Someone's buying them. Crying out loud, they're paying $4 a square foot. They're paying their lease each and every month. They open up more stores. Someone's buying a whole bunch of $5 cupcakes, right? But they worry about something. They worry about loss of money, loss of power, loss of status, and security. And they're seeking out approval, recognition, and respect. Not much different than what everybody else is looking for. So now that we know who this person is, the affluent client, how do we structure our business for them? Right? So we're moving from the 50,000 foot level to the 25,000 foot level. Let's structure our business for them. Like I said, they're very decisive. They know what they want. So your goal is to be known as the local credible expert, the outcome provider. See, they're not looking for a personal trainer. They're not looking for a place to work out. They're not looking for a gym. The affluent person knows exactly what they want. They want an outcome. You can ask, remember they're decisive, right? So you go, hey, how do you want your body to look? I want 26 pounds gone off my body, and I want it gone from here, 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 and there. They can point to it. The regular person would say, I want to lose weight, and I want to feel better. The affluent person, which is why actually they're easier to sell to, they know what they want. So you just have to put what they want in front of them and deliver it to them with a white glove treatment, right? That's it. And they buy. That's it. They're so decisive. They know what they want. So they want someone who's credible. They want an outcome provider, not a personal trainer. So you've got to be known as a person who provides an outcome. You've got to be known as a person who provides complete risk reversal. Alwyn Cosgrove today told the story. There's a great example of risk reversal. Told the story of, he said, imagine this little leprechaun comes up to you and says, hey, I've got this magic bean. And if you give me $500, I'll give you this magic bean. I hope I do a good job of this. I'm sorry, thank you. Invisible bean. I'll give you this invisible bean for $500, and you plant it, and after a year, it's going to become a tree and produce $1 million, and it's yours. Would you buy it? Most people wouldn't, right? Because there's nothing in your hands, sir. It's skepticism sets in. I'm unsure. I will not buy. Then he comes and says, hey, I want to give you this invisible bean. And you plant it, and a year from now, when the tree grows and there's $1 million hanging off it, I'm going to come and harvest $900,000 off of it and keep for myself and let you keep $100,000. Are you okay with that? Yes? Why? No risk. He's reversed all risk. Even though it's something like, what do you say, 18,000 times more than the 500, right? It's going to cost you 18,000% more. He's removed all risk. The affluent person wants to know that they're making the right decision, that there's no risk in what they're about to invest. They don't care what the cost is, as long as the value proposition is there, as long as you've demonstrated proof through either word of mouth or through before and after pictures on TV, in print, via postcards. They don't care about the cost. They care about making the wrong or the bad decision. And so if you can remove all risk and remove all doubt from their mind, done. And you can't be the cheapest because they do judge on price. And so what we want to do is we want to create a category of one. You want to be the only loaf on the shelf, like I talked about, right? I think I wrote an email or a blog post where I said in Armenia, and this is one of the most vivid things I remember being in Armenia. My mom and I would go and wait in line at the local market for the food to arrive. And you go in a few people at a time. And so after about an hour and a half, 2-hour wait, which for folks here, you do that for concert tickets or for an iPhone. We do that for food in Armenia. And I'm a little kid. I remember two things specifically. One, being pressed in between my mom and this fat woman's ass, and just constantly being like, go, 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 like the little flippers on a pinball machine. Right? Imagine me, like a 5-year-old chunky kid myself. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm at ass level with this woman for like an hour. Right? And then once we got in there was like one loaf on the shelf. And my mom pokes at it. It's like dry, and she's muttering to herself, it's dry, it's crumbling, it's falling apart, it's probably gone bad, probably has mold on it. And the price is high, buys it anyway. Why? It's the only option. It's a category of one. Only loaf on the shelf. If we didn't take it, the person behind us was going to take it. Is it kind of weird to even like imagine that? I wish I could somehow take you guys back into my life and say, take a look at this. It's so crazy when I think about those days. So anyhow, you want to be that category of one. So how do you create that category of one? So that you're not compared to the trainer down the street, to the yoga guy, the Pilates lady. How do you do that? You stack the value. Sure, you want to be talked about. You want to be known for something. You want social proof. But you also want to have other features and benefits of your program that others don't provide. So someone can't say, look, apple for an apple, and your apple's more expensive. You want to be an egg, so they're always saying apple and egg. I can't even judge these two. They're two different things, right? So you'll add nutrition programming to your program. Maybe you're going to add grocery shopping list, right? Hey, when you get on board with us, we give you a done-for-you grocery list each and every week. Go and buy this based on the type of foods and the amount of foods we want you to eat. We give you a monthly fitness evaluation. Maybe it's a weekly fitness evaluation. Maybe your fitness evaluation is totally different than anybody else's. You're the one that offers the money-back satisfaction guarantee. Right? And if you're bold enough and you really want to hold your feet to the fire, look, I'll give you an unconditional money-back guarantee. You tell me what it is that you want to lose and how it is that you want to look. And I will give you a realistic timeline that I can help you get there. If we shake hands on that and agree on that, if I don't get you there, I will give you your money back. Now, they're going to miss a session. You're going to have to call them and reach out to them and text them and drive to their house, whatever you got to do to get to them. But they're going to pay you 2, 3, 4 times what a normal trainer would pay you or what a normal client would pay you. Right? So you've got to do this whole risk reversal thing. Now, write this down. If you want to attract the affluent, and in fact, all of you should have this whether you market to the affluent or not, because by accident you might get someone who's affluent into your business. You're going to have something called the slack adjuster. Write it down, slack adjuster. What is a slack adjuster? It's a super high-priced program that serves 2 functions. Oh, the chandelier is going to fall. We counted. Only 14 people will get hurt. We'll still have a good number of people here. We're fine. It's like one screw holding it together. I could see it right from here, too. So I got a good vantage point. Slack adjuster. This is really awesome. This is something that about 10 to 20% of the people who come across your program will buy. So how does a good slack adjuster look like? Let me tell you. It's going to be a $6,000 to $10,000 charge, plus your regular monthly fee. So I'll give you a great example. If you charge $247 a month, right? You're a boot camp, you charge $247 a month. Fantastic. You'll have that price point. Maybe that's for the 12-month program. And then it's, if they commit for 12 months, it's $247. If they go month to month, it's $397 a month, let's say, right? Or $347, $100 more. But then you've got this other program, this high-end program, the slack adjuster. You're not going to call it a slack adjuster. You're going to call it the ultimate results program or the super mega platinum program. And it's anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. And what it would come with, if I were to do this, so it's $6,000 to $10,000 plus the $247 per month. the first 21 days of the program, they would get calorie-specific, pre-made healthy foods delivered to their house. I went online and I checked susanshealthygourmet.com. It's $250 a week. So under $800 for the first 21 days for you to take $800 of that $6,000 to $10,000 they gave you, and you have food show up to their house. Now, would the affluent person who I described earlier, who wants to be serviced and stroked and catered to, appreciate that? Will they pay $6,000 to $10,000 so that in 21 days you beat the dog poop out of them in their workouts, and then you give them very calorie-specific foods to eat? You can only eat the food that shows up to your doorstep, right? Is that guaranteed weight loss or what? And these people will do it. They're warriors. Remember, these are people who start up businesses. They've bled. They've worked from their kitchen table at night. They've fallen asleep on the keyboard, woken up. The letter O for 10 lines. This happened to me. Another scoop of peanut butter. Must keep typing. I've done that. So Susan's Healthy Gourmet, or some other thing like it. I just happened to Google that. That's what they have in LA for the first 21 days. It'll also include this mega platinum thing for $6,000 to $10,000. It would include where you would go to their house and do some kind of a pantry raid. Shauna, are you here? Shauna, raise your hand. Where? Raise your hand. Oh, okay, way back there. Shauna. She does this thing where it's called Shauna 24/7. We crafted this little program. You pay a higher fee. It's not anywhere near this price, but you pay a higher fee, and if you're in Calgary, in addition to working out her boot camp, she'll come to your house and do a pantry raid, right? Throw this out, don't eat this, eat that, you should get more of this, here's what you want to stock here, we got to throw this away and throw that away. By the way, let's read the label. I'm going to teach you how to read the label the right way, right? They appreciate that. They also get a personal grocery store tour. And if they go, wait a minute, I'm not the person who does the shopping in the house. Cool. Should I take your wife? Your maid? Who? Who does the buying? Right? They want service, over-the-top service, and they'll pay $6,000 to $10,000 for this. They also would get a trip to a hypnotherapist. You pay it out of your pocket. If there's a local hypnotherapist who you know, I've gone to one in La Jolla. Frank recommended him. And within like a session or two, like he removes or talks your subconscious mind into removing all self-limiting beliefs, right? $300 for 2 sessions. Well worth it. So really, you've spent $1,000 out of your pocket here for like a $6,000 to $10,000 program, right? 21 days of food. It's going to show up to their house, calorie-specific, very healthy. Hypnotherapist. And then, this might include, for the first 21 days only, a weekly one-on-one personal training session. In addition to them doing the personal training with either in a group or boot camp or whatever. With who? With the owner. Now you decide if you're like, hey, $6,000 isn't enough for me. Is 10? Is 12? Is 15? I've never met Dax Moy, but I heard that he charges $25,000, and good for him. Brilliant move ever. Charges $25,000 and takes her ass to Thailand for a week, works out with you, eats with you, changes your lifestyle, and says, hey, when you're working out in the gym, this is the intensity you should be at. See, telling someone, here's a workout program, go do it, that might be worth $100 a month. Saying, we're going to remove your life, we're going to take you out of your current life, and we're going to go to this whole other country, boom, to Thailand. We're going to eat, we're going to talk mindset every day. It's you and me for 7 days, full immersion. People pay him $25,000 at a time. That's his cost. Good for him, right? Brilliant move. Now you can do this. So imagine if you only sold one of these per month. What's 6 times 12? Who's a good mathematician? 70? 72. So if you sold one at $6,000, that's $72,000 gross. Now, you're going to take $12,000 off, right? So it ends up being what, 50 something? 60-something? I don't know what it is. What, 60,000, thank you. I told you, I don't know, I can get rid of money faster than I can make it. Thank you for the math, I really appreciate it. Stay up front because I'm going to need you all weekend with the math there. I mean it. So you guys see how this would work, a slack adjuster? And full transparency, guys, there's trainers out there, right? The average trainer makes under $50,000. In fact, the average trainer makes like $31,000 a year. Yeah, but there's affluent trainers, right? Affluent trainers who randomly will call up and say, what does Bedros offer? Well, he's got a mastermind program, and it costs $2,000 a month, and he's got a half day of coaching, and he's got a full day of coaching. The half day is $9,000, the full day is $12,000. And every so often, somebody goes, I'll take the full day of coaching, and I'll join the 7-figure formula mastermind group. Cool. There's my slack adjuster, the full day of coaching. Awesome, right? Do I sell one a week? No, I'd love to. But it's there, and there's a certain percentage of the population who just go, I want that silver GTR. And then, hell or high water, I'm walking away with it, right? And if you have that slack adjuster, like I said, it serves two purposes. One, it's a nice chunk of change, an extra $72,000 a year, majority of that being profit for you. And remember, once you get them on the Susan's Healthy Gourmet or whatever for 21 days, and first of all, they've seen a lot of results in the first 21 days. Secondly, you can say, now, hey, I need you to keep paying for this and keep ordering this food. And they'll come out of pocket gladly and do it. Because now you've demonstrated proof that this works. But what did you do? You removed all risk. They don't have time to go Susan's Healthy Gourmet. They don't have time to figure out how many calories they need. They're willing to pay you $6,000 to $10,000. You figure it out for me. You tell me what I need to buy from the shopping stores. You tell me what hypnotherapist I need to see. You tell me where to order the food. In fact, you order the food for me. Train me one-on-one, so on the off days that when I'm working out on my own, I know what intensity and what to do on my own. And then I'll keep working out in your boot camp or your personal training studio. That's what they're looking for. So the other thing is, the other benefit of the slack adjuster, it makes the rest of your programs look really, really cheap, right? So you're like, well, we've got the Super Mega Platinum program that's $7,300 and then $247 a month, but you get this for it for the first 21 days. We deliver food right to your house. Every single thing you're going to eat for 21 days comes right to your house the day before. You just cook it and eat it. Warm it up and eat it. We also do one-on-one personal training for the first 21 days, once a week. So you get 3 sessions with me personally, the owner of the company, right? Remember, they want to work with the authority, right? So you charge to come work with the man, right? Don't give your services away for free. Hey, you want to work with my trainers? Great, that's what it costs. You want to work with me? This is what it costs. Dan, do you train people? 3 hours a week. Now, if I'm a brand new client and I was like, hey, Dan, I want to sign up and work with one of your trainers, what would I pay per month on average? $300 to $400 a month to work with one of his trainers. Now, hey, Dan, I want to work with you specifically. What would I pay? I can't. But I'm willing to. What am I going to pay? What's your price? But what's your price?
There is no price.
There is no price. But if I nagged enough, he might just say $1,000 an hour. And I might say, $1,000 a month. Guess what? If I really wanted to, there's a guy in West Lafayette right now somewhere who'll pay you $1,000 a month for that. You know it and I know it. There's several probably. Now, I know you don't want that, and trust me, you shouldn't be doing that either. That's not your highest value, training one individual. But there's people that do that. I want you. I see you on the commercials. I don't do that, and that's perfect. That's a takeaway. No. I'll pay you $500. What's their price? I got awesome trainers. They're certified. They're way better than me. No, but I want you. It's $1,000 a month. Okay, I'll pay, right? So it makes the rest of your programs look a lot cheaper when you say, hey, this platinum program comes with this, that, and the other. And we also have our 12-month membership, which is $247 a month, and our month-to-month program, which is $347 a month. Now, after looking at a $7,000 program plus $247 a month, The only $247 a month program looks a lot cheaper, doesn't it? But there's always going to be that one person that goes, you know what? I'll take it. Have you ever had that happen where someone's like, I'll take it. No, by the way, can I pay with cash in full for the whole year? Who's had that happen? Raise their hand. Isn't that awesome? Inside, you're like, holy fuck! Right? You're like high-fiving yourself. In front of them, you're just like, happens all the time. No, it doesn't. You know it, I know it. Right? I've done that. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till they leave. I'm going to go and high-five myself in the bathroom and do a dance. You know, it's like, right. So there's that person who go, I'll take that. So understand a slack adjuster is important to have. All right. Moving on. So how do we market to these people? Well, we're going to talk about marketing all weekend. But if you look in your mega marketing swipe file, on page 81 and 82, you'll find a postcard. This is a postcard that we ran for Josh Carter years ago. And the numbers are there. It kind of shows you what it produced. On page 84 is a print ad. A full-page print ad that we ran for Kara Eckerman. When I say we, I helped craft the copy. Of course, they paid for the ad and ran the ad themselves. I didn't do it. Again, all the numbers are there. And, of course, on page 86, there's a 4-page letter that, to date, has brought in a hair under $300,000 in personal training. From 2 trainers. Only 2 trainers have mailed this 4-page letter out. Because it is cumbersome. You have to take this letter, print out a whole bunch of them, put the person's name on it for one. Each one has to be individually named, right? Stuff it in a really cool envelope. So if you look at the very last page, like if you go 4 pages the other way, you'll see the envelope. It's like a yellow envelope with a gold seal, a first-class stamp. You have to buy the right mailing addresses for it, so you'd either go to Craig Simpson at Simpson Direct. There's a lot of things you got to do to make this happen. But when Andrew Stearns, I helped him write this letter, and Andrew Stearns in New Jersey sent this letter out, $123,000 in sales. And he sent out 1,200 pieces. 1,200 envelopes went out to very targeted homes. Like the assessed value was like $800,000 or higher for those homes. Handpicked 1,200 homes. He worked with the local real estate agent and said, hey, can you get me the tax assessor's home values for these things? Yes. Okay, great. We crafted the letter. In fact, this is like the final version of the letter. The first 2 versions didn't even pull. Ironically, the first version, so once we sent this letter out to 1,200 homes, got him $89,000. We took the same letter, same envelope, put last and final notice stamp on the letter and the envelope, sent it out to the same homes, minus the people who had bought, and then filled in the gap for another to meet 123,000. So 89,000 first mailing, and then we met 123,000 after the second mailing, just by writing first and final notice on there. Pretty cool, right? And then Samantha Taylor took it, who will be in here tomorrow, and blew it up in Tampa, Lutz, Florida, by Tampa. All right? So how else can we find affluent people? I'm going to show you a website, or tell you about it. Write this down, infousa.com. And if you're from Canada, you're going to write infocanada.ca. And I just did a little test study for you guys. I did a little test study. I went to InfoUSA, and I said, all right, let's look for Salem, Oregon. All right? Let's look for an average place. Salem, Oregon. Population, 142,000 people. And I said, I'm looking for, now here's what's cool about InfoUSA. Let me tell you how it works. InfoUSA takes all of our shit, all of our address and information, gender, how much money we make, etc., our hobbies, our lifestyle, and makes it available for sale, right? There's no more privacy. How do they do that? I'll tell you how. when you buy that Sony big screen TV or that refrigerator, and you get that warranty card, you know how you want that warranty to be active? So they tell you, unless you send this warranty card in, it's not going to be active. You ever notice you got to fill out the warranty card? Name, last name, gender, address. What's your household income? Why do they ask that? What's your household income? You're asking a lot of personal information for a warranty card. They sell those cards. They sell those cards to offset the cost of packaging the TV, of delivering it to your house, right? It's a revenue stream for them. And then they, of course, turn this little switch on and your warranty is now active. As if your receipt wasn't good enough, right? And of course, Info USA takes it and goes, hey, here it is. Anybody who wants it, just pay me for it. And so I said, all right, let's go and look up Salem, Oregon. 142,000 people is the population. I said, well, show me females, and show me females age 30 to 59 only. Like, I want that sweet spot for those clients. Write this number down, or these numbers down. 30 to 59. And show me females who are 30 to 59 with a household income of $100,000 or more. And show me females in Salem, Oregon, 30 to 59, with a household income of $100,000 and a house value of $175,000 or higher. And Info USA goes, doot, 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 and then the little number shows up in the corner. It says we have 2,686 women, 30 to 59, household income of $100,000 or higher in Salem, Oregon, with a home value of $275,000 or higher. Now, is that person targeted? How targeted is that person? Let's say you live in a smaller city. So let's cut the number in half. Let's take the 142 and cut it in half. What is that, 70,000, 71,000? So that means you've got 1,300 targeted people. How targeted is that? Now, what can we send to these 1,300 people? So let's say you spent $200, which is about what it would cost for you to buy these 2,600 names. And you don't have to send out postcards to all of them. Nope. You can even hypersegment. You can say, well, gosh, if there's 2,600, I want like the cream of the crop. So show me ones who make $150,000 a year or more, and a household value, a house value of $350,000 or more. And now, Info USA comes back and says, well, you know what? It's not 2,600 anymore. It's only 496 women who are loaded. Okay, cool. 496 women. Now, we don't, guess what? We pay our $100 or $200. We buy those addresses. They actually sell it to you. They give it to you in a spreadsheet. Here you go. Take it. Take it. It's yours. Go. And they go, oh, by the way, of the 159 or 194, we also have 200 of their addresses or email addresses. Would you want those too? Yeah, it's another $80. Cool. Buy them. It's not going to hurt you. Right? Because on the warranty card, these people filled out their address or email address. So now the 494 people that you have, we don't want to send them a postcard. We know these people are like hyper-targeted. What would you send them? What if we went to Zazzle.com and we ordered a coffee mug with your logo on it, and we paid a whopping $4 for that? Or you went to 4imprint, the number 4imprint.com, and you ordered a coffee mug with your logo on it. And then you go to Starbucks and get a $5 gift card. Then you go to Target and you buy a whole bunch of those small mini protein bars, right? Not the full-size one, the mini ones. You put the $5 gift card in the mug is still in the box. You put the protein bar, and then you get on your keyboard and you type, "Dear Susan Smith, the reason I'm sending you this coffee mug and $5 gift card to Starbucks and protein bar is because you're a distinguished resident of Salem, Oregon. And I happen to be the #1 fitness expert in the area. In the attached form, you'll see pictures of many of my clients who've gotten amazing results. They should all be female, by the way, if you're sending this to a woman, right? But the reason I'm sending you this is because I cater to clients who have your discerning taste. What are you saying? I know you're loaded, and I cater to the loaded folk. And you're stroking her ego, right? So I wanted to give you this cup so that you can have something to drink your coffee out of every morning, and you would think about your health, the value of fitness, and what being fit can deliver you in life, such as better energy, higher self-esteem, and confidence. Remember all the things we talked about here, right? The respect of your neighbors, etc. The appearance. Every summer you could wear a two-piece bikini. We could reverse your age, right? They want to look younger. I've got clients who have reversed their age. They're in their late 50s, and they look like they're in their mid-40s, right? Remember, we know about the age group we're talking to here. And so I wanted to send you this coffee mug to remind you of that. And I want to send you this protein bar to let you know that when you want to have a snack, there's healthier alternatives. And this is one of them. And oh, by the way, here's a $5 gift card to Starbucks. And I took the time to go to starbucks.com and check out the 5 highest calorie drinks and check out the 5 lowest calorie drinks. Here they are. I would hope that you make the choices from the lowest calorie drinks. And oh, by the way, I'd like to offer you a free body diagnostic. I'd like to offer you a 14-day fat furnace program. Come try us out absolutely free. Because this is my attempt at bribing you ethically to come in and try us out. And y'all would use those words. Right? Now, after sending someone so targeted a coffee mug, a little protein bar, a $5 gift card, and then you did the research, and it's all on that one Word doc that you just printed out and put it there, along with the yellow, canary yellow sheet of paper. You want it to be canary yellow with the before and after pictures of women very similar to them. How well do you think the response rate is going to be when you say, I'm ethically bribing you to get your attention with all this shit that I'm sending you, and I want to offer you a free body diagnostic, a free 14-day fat furnace, or whatever, right? To prove to you that I am the person that delivers amazing results. And in fact, I guarantee it, that if I don't give you the results, I'll give you all your money back. Your response rate would be through the roof. And you would only need to send 5 or 10 out at a time, right? You got those addresses of nearly 500 people. Send out 5 or 10 at a time. Check out the response. If it was mediocre response, what can I tweak? Tweak something else, send out another 5 or 10. Send out another 5 or 10. So while everyone else, all your competitors, are probably sending out postcards, doing print ads, they're copying everybody else in town, you're sending out a box that has a thud factor. When it shows up, it's got the shock and awe appeal to it, right? Holy crap. Dan Kennedy sent me this tube that had a wanted poster in it, like a country western wanted poster. Yes. Did you get that too? And it had, was it like a 20 caliber or 50 caliber bullet, right? And on the wanted poster was my name. And it's like, dude, you were at my last event, and I just checked the registration list for my current event, and you're not on there. You're wanted. This bullet's got your name on it. Right? Now that was really good theater. Why'd he send it to me? I'm very qualified. I buy all his shit. I go to all his events. Of course it's worth his time to spend that kind of money on me. Right? So of course it's worth your time to get the right list of affluent people, or to ask Mrs. Jones that you raise your hand on, right, that affluent client, and say, hey, who's that person who's like really, really like well-connected? Who's the socialite? I want to send her something really cool. Who's your friend? I really want to get her attention. Just tell her. I want to get her attention. So imagine in that letter, say, hey, by the way, Susan is my client, and she said that you're one of the discerning members of our community, and she's a client, and so I thought I'd send you, her friend, this coffee mug, this Starbucks gift card, and this protein bar, because this is my way of ethically bribing you to come try my program, the same program that your friend Susan is doing. can you see how your success rate would like multiply? All of a sudden, it's not shotgun marketing. You're like laser focused on one affluent person at a time. And all you need is a couple affluent people. And all of a sudden, you're being connected. They're taking you to their events, right? Hey, where are you going? Can I go with you? Can I pay my way in? Can you make connections? Can you hook me up? They'll do it if you treat them right. If all the other criteria that I talked about was met. Right? What publications do they read? What stores do they go to? Is there an expensive handbag boutique in your neighborhood? There's one in mind. What's that? Hey, Di, are you in here? Hello. She what? Oh. What? Oh, is that you? Oh, yeah, the lights. What's the name of that handbag store there in Chino Hills? Who? Brighton. Does that ring a bell to you ladies? Yes. Brighton handbags? Okay, so wouldn't it be easy enough for me to walk in there and buy a bag, right? Because I'd probably want to spend money there first, or buy a little small something. And I go, hey, by the way, I'm a personal trainer down the street. I'd love to train you for free. Make friends with the employees there, train them for free, because they are connected to every affluent Mrs. Jones who comes through and buys the Brighton bag. Right? People are spending several hundred, several $1,000s on these bags. But most trainers will make the attempt of walking in there and going, hi, my name is Bedros, I'm a personal trainer. I know you cater to the type of clients that would also be my clients, and I was wondering if I could put these postcards out. Nope, get lost. Can I put my lead box out? Nope, get lost. Can you hand these gift cards out? Nope, get lost. Right? But if you do the courtship process right, you invest a little time in it, you're going to go in there, you're going to buy the product, you're going to let them know who you are and what you do, and by virtue of you being awesome and cool, you're going to invite them to come and work out at your place for free. Because after all, we're neighbors. I own a business, you work in a business. And if that happens to be the owner or the manager, even better. Train them for a few weeks for free. Don't talk about leads or anything. Give them a Starbucks card. Send them awesome text messages. These are your gatekeepers to the affluent. All of a sudden, one day as you make friends, hey, listen, I really would love to penetrate the affluent market here in Chino Hills. Do you have any ideas? Excuse me. Do you have any ideas on how I could do that? Well, yeah, all my customers here at the handbag boutique, they're all affluent. What do you think is the best way for me to go about that, to get their attention? Don't you think they're going to have an idea or two for you? Or don't you think they go, well, I don't know, what do you got I can give them? Gee, I don't know. Let's talk about it, right? So you do that at the dress shop. You do that at the med spa. But you've got to systematically do that. You can't just go in there and go, can you do this for me? They're going to say no. And I want you guys to understand that. They're a very protected group. But man, are they loyal? And man, do they share information? You know? And they do the opposite. If you're not good, oh man, I got this trainer, don't ever go to him. When my contract's over, I'm done. Done. Like done. And just so you know, you don't have to cater your business exclusively to the affluent. You can continue to market the way you currently market, and you can also market to the affluent in this way that I told you about, buying a very targeted list and sending them very targeted stuff, right? So to the mass population, you can continue to market the way you do. Get lead boxes out there. Build your email list, right? Referral generation contest, all that stuff that's going to get talked about this weekend. Do all that. But let's also get the affluent in there, because 5 or 6 or 10 affluent people could add an extra $100,000 to your bottom line in this next 12 months. Can you guys see how that would happen? Cool. So if you guys have any questions, you can come to these mics right over here, and I'd love to answer some questions. If you guys have any questions about buying a list, marketing pieces, or anything in general, because that's pretty much what I had to share with you about the affluent. Any questions? Can you go to the mic? Thank you, sir.
I started the basically an exclusivity training program, just training exclusively with the owner of the business. And in about, started with one guy. He knew me from high school. We both went to private school. We both were like 140 pounds, all that. He saw I'd gained weight. Can you help me? Yes. Makes about 400 a year. He's the owner of a multi-million-dollar company. So now I'm doing, the thing was, I was trying to get him into a group program. He wanted personal. So, didn't care, kept going back and forth, texting me, calling me, texting me. I said, I can't. I'll give you $200 a session. I was like, $200 an hour. I said, I'll do $200 a session, 40-minute session. I've got a couple spots a week. Then his brother-in-law, then her wife, 13 clients later.
The gates opened up, didn't they?
Yeah, which is great. You know, it's another about $12,000 to $15,000 of revenue a month. The downside now is my back is against the wall because I'm doing, 20, because I did it to just get some extra cash.
Yeah.
And now it's been 12, 14 months.
Ooh.
And and now $14,000 is not, or $10,000 a month, keeps me from doing 10 times that or 5 times that everywhere else. And they don't want, they've gone in and set in a gym up at their office. I did everything, I laid everything out. They don't, it's just that the exclusivity. So now the exclusivity, I've taken it so far, and I do everything for them, and they pay for everything. It's great. But how do I transition from doing 15 hours of work, I don't even care if I cut price. I don't care about anything. I just want my time back.
Yeah. Well, you've done something very unique and special. You've kind of painted yourself right into a corner, right? I mean, you even helped the guy build the gym in his place.
Yeah.
Right now, he expects you to come and train him there. What I would do is I would have a heart-to-heart with them. And I've actually had this with my clients. I was getting ready to get married. I was training clients. I'm like, hey, look, listen. I want to get married, I want to have kids, and I realized like coming early in the morning and training you, and then having to run my business later into the day, and then training evening clients, like it's probably going to be like the worst marriage on the planet. Like it's going to be horrible. So as my clients who I value, I need to put you with another trainer, and I know you understand why, right? And they're like, well, yeah, I go, but the good news is I want you to try this trainer out for 2 weeks. If they weren't a good fit, I won't even charge you for that period. I'll put you with another trainer. I'll train you myself until I find the perfect trainer. But the fact of the matter is I'm just overwhelmed and stressed, and I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. You've got to be fully transparent with them and say, look, I've kind of painted myself in a corner with you. And my options are either to double my prices with you or to find a trainer who's as competent as me or better. And my whole thing was, so you have to put your ego aside and go, look, I've actually found a trainer who's better than me. And I would tell them, like, as long as you give them a try for 2 weeks, I know you're going to love them. And you know what would happen? They would love the trainer, then I'd get offended, like, man, how do you like that, But it's like, this is great, I want my freedom back, And so you got to have that heart-to-heart with them and say, you can't just go, hey, I need to give you up, because then it's like, you're challenging them, right? But if you you guilt them into it, is what I'm saying. Here's what I need to do, and this is why you're the most awesome client ever, but between doing the back office work and growing my business and my family, et cetera, this thing's just not going to work. So either have to double your rates, or I have to give you to a trainer who I feel is going to be super awesome for you. Which would work best for you, Mr. Client? And if they go, hey, double your rates, cool, double your rates.
And if you get that, because that's where the issue is, I've known them for about 30% of the group I've known for years.
Yeah.
Friends of the family, et cetera. And some of them, I've done that with a couple, and it's gone great. The other ones are like, we don't train with you, we don't train with anyone.
Yeah.
And I don't not care, but I'm like, in the back of my mind, okay, that's fine. But then it's the whole back you against the wall, like, well, we're going to get overweight, we're going to be unhealthy, and then the cognitive side of that comes out. And then I have the other guy that said, double your rates. I mean, he's paying $2,500 a month for he and his wife to freaking train.
Take him up to $5,000.
Just keep going up.
Yeah, you cannot judge his values. If he says you're worth $7,000, $10,000, $20,000, you just keep doubling your prices. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can't push your values on him. On the flip side, you have to be willing to lose some clients. And every single one of these guys and gals in the 7-figure group, they've had to have the talk with that client. And I've had to tell them, look, you might end up losing some clients who say, hell or high water, I train with you or I walk. And you have to say, gosh, I'm really hurting to lose you, but I guess we're going to have to, And ultimately, you build your business the right way, which is why I want you to structure this as a 21-day thing. Your Slack adjuster, right? There's an exit clause for you. That's why I said you painted yourself in a corner. But if you do the Slack adjuster the right way, whether it's 21 days, 28 days, it's like, hey, for the first month or first 21 days, you're with me, the owner, right? You pay the $6 to $7 grand up front, boom, and we do all this one-on-one stuff, and then I transition you to the instructor, who takes over from there. And it's fully transparent. You do that. Any other questions? Come on up to the mic. If you've got a question, just come on up to the mic and line up, and then we'll take questions that way. It'll be faster, easier, more convenient. Boy, it's after 10. You guys are champs.
Okay, so I think that this could probably benefit everyone because I'm trying to get into the cardiac rehab program, the nearby hospital. Mm-hmm. And I know you have your guide on getting medical referrals, which I haven't purchased, so. And I haven't spent too much time trying to get into this, but I'm just thinking, gosh, maybe you can give me an insight before I really push forward with this. But the hospital's kind of, we don't really do that, so what's the way in there? I have one of their cardiac patients, and he's one of the local Affluent. And he comes and trains with me, and he's like, you got to work with this, guys. You got to get in there. I'm like, I'm trying. Okay. So I've tried a little bit, but what's the angle?
You can't. That's the angle. The hospital is going to protect their patients and their patients' privacy. They're not going to let you in. They're not going to give you their contact info. And it just so happened that you got that cardiac patient who also happens to be Affluent and who also happened to come from that hospital. So he's like, dude, you got to do this. You got to get in there. The fact of the matter is, someone just fell off the tree. Like, that was like a lucky thing that happened. Full transparency, my medical referral manual, right? That product you mentioned?
Yeah.
You can't buy it. It's not sold anymore. It's not. I removed it out of the market. Why? Because I realized real quickly it was unrealistic. Unless you're like part of the 0.1% of trainers who is so medically inclined to like make this awesome connection with doctors and their staff and et cetera, it wasn't going to work for you. So like for every 100 trainers who bought, 1/10 of them were able to make that connection. That wasn't enough for me to say, give me money and I'll give you this. Like, I couldn't ethically do that. I took that off the shelf. Just like years ago, I took High Tech Trainer off the shelf because it wasn't working the way I imagined it. It was making me 20 grand a month, but I said I got to shelf it until a better version came out. Here we are 2 years later, a better version came out, and we just released High Tech Trainer 2.0. My point is, we found through that product that the HIPAA law, the whatever law, doctors, hospitals, dude, they're just the biggest like gatekeepers ever, cock blockers ever, Right. So, yeah, don't waste your time. Just like when people go, hey, how do I get into corporate wellness programs and da-da-da-da, it's like, you can go get 50 clients by the time you go to this big corporation and put together a PowerPoint and an offer to their human resource department, and then they move you up to the VP of the company, and he moves you up to the president of the company, then the board of the directors make a decision whether they're going to hire you for corporate wellness. By the time you go through all that same amount of time, money, and energy could have been spent on getting 50 individual new clients into your business. Why is that more important? Because if this guy, even if you did end up getting ultimately the corporate deal, if he pulls the plug on you, you just lost all 50 people at one shot. There's no way 50 different individuals would leave in one foul swoop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, if you happen to be training the VP of a company and he goes, hey, we'd like to give you our business, don't go, holy shit, this is great. I'll go start doing more corporate wellness. Just go, hey, I'm really thankful for that. Take the business, give them awesome results. So give this guy great results, and if he happens to refer more people, you get more people like that, great. But unless you want to go beat the pavement and talk to cardiologists, and even then, like, the person has to have had a heart attack, be affluent, and want to take the doctor's advice to work out for it to be a perfect match for you. You see all the variables, like all the stars and moons have to line up? Yeah. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I just want to be realistic.
Understand.
All right.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Cool. We all have to wake up and get here early, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I'll see you guys in the morning.